Hello, I'm Fred Davies with The Wholesome Life, and today we are talking about feedback loop disorders. Feedback loop disorders include attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, autism, Aspergers, obsessive compulsive disorders, addictions, and some of the isms like alcoholism and workaholism and so forth. This presentation is meant to give hope and to give you enough information to take action. We can help guide you through this program when you hit snags or when you hit something that you don't understand. So what is a feedback loop? When the lines of communication are down or the neural pathways are broken, then the feedback loop doesn't work. When a question is asked by the frontal lobe, for example, the decision center of the brain, to the rest of the body and the brain, which has information that it needs to make the final decision, the frontal lobes expect feedback information so that they can make an informed decision. If the feedback loop is offline or is damaged, when the question goes out and answers are not received, so they are not considered in the decision, then a decision is made that may result in dangerous or frustrating outcomes. For example, if a young man thinks of a great idea, I should jump off this house. Well, that initiates a feedback loop question that goes out to the rest of the centers of the brain that should consider, how high is the house? How is that going to hurt when I land? Is there anything down there that's unsafe for me to land on? And so forth. If the feedback loop is not working, a decision is quickly made and the individual jumps and finds out things that he could have probably found out before then. Yes, that is a personal example of me doing that. Or if a young child says, if I tell Aunt Norma that her hair looks terrible today, what would she think or feel? Well, if the feedback loop is working, they'll think about that and maybe not say anything. If it's not working, they'll just blurt it out and then learn by experience what that causes. If a young man has been watching TV or playing a video game for 3 hours, then the feedback loop should be telling him, I need to get up, I need a drink, I need to eat. I should be doing that homework that I haven't been doing. But if it's offline, they're very frustrated if you try and interrupt them and may not know what they need. Or maybe the question or the behavior, oh, I was asked by my parents to go do my chores. I better do them right now. Oh, look at that butterfly. And then they never remember that there were any chores that needed to be done because it's completely left their mind. While each individual is unique, there are some common symptoms, and some or many of these may be present in any individual. Difficulty changing focus, difficulty going to bed, and keeping the family up too sometimes. Or hard to wake up in the morning. Frustration or anger if their focus is interrupted. Challenge changing behavior based on changed environment. Hypersensitivity to stimulus. A monodiet which leads to out-of-balanced gut bacteria. Hyperfocus on things that might not matter, at least to anyone else. As mentioned before, completely unaware of body needs like bathroom, thirst, hunger, cold, heat. And then being overwhelmed by those needs when they do recognize them. Inability to stop a behavior even though they would like to stop that behavior. And easily distracted from what they are supposed to be working on. When the feedback loop and the attending other systems are damaged, or not working properly or offline or just plain broke, it's frustrating not only to the individual, but also to others, loved ones who are trying to be patient, loving, understanding, but they may not understand. You don't have to understand all the systems to correct them. And we'll address those systems and some things that can be tested, muscle tested for, to help repair those systems. The great news is that systems are able to rebuild, and the feedback loop doesn't need to stay broke, and everyone doesn't need to stay frustrated. I usually see individuals make rapid progress in just a few weeks, like maybe 6 weeks or 3 months is often enough rebuild time to make major progress back to normal function. Maybe a business example of a feedback loop would help in understanding what the feedback loop is and some of the impacts of it. In a business, a healthy business has a healthy feedback loop. A business without a healthy feedback loop means that they lack understanding of what the people at the lowest level need to get their job done. Sometimes company priorities aren't communicated down the chain so that everyone is aligned around the mission of the organization. Sometimes there's lots of work going on, but little production that really matters. There's plenty of resources in the headquarters, but lacking of resources to get the job done in other areas. I worked in an organization that we didn't even have paper and pencils to write down what we needed to do that day because they were so tight on resources everywhere else except for headquarters. The end result in many organizations is low morale in many parts of the organization. We mentioned at the beginning some common names of feedback loop disorders. The names that are sometimes used are not important at all. They give me a clue, and you a clue maybe, of some systems that are affected. The names are also sometimes used as an excuse or a reason that we can't do anything. I don't believe it based on my experience and the others who understand the systems. Everything can be rebuilt. One of the reasons people shut down and won't work on feedback loop disorders is because they've been labeled as genetic, and therefore we can't do anything to help the person. We all inherit weaknesses from our parents, but the environment, toxins, and other things in the environment manifest those weaknesses. And by clearing those environmental toxins, we can often correct the system weaknesses. So rather than focusing on the label, let's focus on understanding and correcting the systems that are affected. So what systems are affected? Well, it's unique to each individual, and we use muscle testing to identify what systems are affected. Some of the ones that are most normally affected are the immune system, the nervous system, digestive system, heavy metal toxicity in the entire body, the power grid or the energy meridians of the body being down in certain areas, sometimes because of heavy metal toxicity and sometimes because of trauma or other reasons. And maybe blocks in the areas of heart, mind, body, or spirit. By identifying the affected systems, we can often correct and restore, or for some people, give them for the first time in this life, the full capacity that they desire. So, using self-muscle testing or proxy muscle testing, we can know what systems are offline, what systems are weak and need support. Individuals can learn new capacities and new habits. They can find their full potential. Each of us has a unique full potential and mission in this life, and restoring to wholeness is not meant to remove someone's mission capacity, but rather to give that person the full opportunity to meet their mission capacity. In my experience, there is no damage that cannot be corrected and rebuilt. This just depends on an individual and their own desire. I do understand that there are some people who want to stay right where they are. They have every right to make that decision, and I honor that. For those who want to work on their systems and achieve full function, I also support that. The first system I'd like to talk about is the nervous system. Some things to check in the nervous system are there blocks specifically in the nervous system and feedback loop that has knocked it offline, and can we remove those blocks? Is there missing or damaged wiring? Once we have removed the blocks, we can repair the wiring, and some of the things to test for are the nerve herbs, such as those in relaxees, the antispasmodic formula, ear and nerve formula, the mind track and kitty track formulas. And when we're working on nerve rebuilds, we usually need herbal calcium and fish oil. If we find that the heavy metal toxicity has shorted out the wiring, we can repair that or safely remove the heavy metals by using the heavy mineral bugleweed formula in combination with the blood cleanse formula, and sometimes with single herbs such as cilantro. The next system I'd like to talk about is the digestive system. There is a tie between the gut and the brain. A healthy gut is equal to a healthy brain, and an inflamed gut equals an inflamed brain. Allergies are also tied to gut balance and to liver function. Friendly bacteria is helped by prebiotics, such as oatmeal, flax, chia, beans, onions, garlic, apples, asparagus, and many other fruits and vegetables. Dr. Christopher's soothing digestion formula, which contains slippery elm, also is very helpful in restoring the digestive system by restoring the home for the friendly bacteria. Our friendly bacteria are brought back into balance by providing a home and by feeding them the foods that they need. That's why broad spectrum nutrition and broad spectrum food groups is so important. Repairs to the other body systems are facilitated by eating a wide variety of foods also. So this is the time when temple quality food testing is so critical to bring in the only foods that are building to the body. Foods that are temple quality change as the rebuild progresses and as the seasons change, so it's important to test again each season. The friendly bacteria in the gut provide 80% of our immune response, and that's why broad spectrum nutrition is so helpful in the immune system. So let's talk about the immune system next. Often the immune system is overstimulated in people with feedback loop disorders, and to calm down the immune system, we do that with astragalus. This is found in Dr. Christopher's ImmuCalm formula, which contains astragalus and marshmallow. Another thing that we do to calm down the immune system, or to make sure that it's doing its work properly, is to cut out sugar. Sugar actually freezes or paralyzes the T killer cells and other immune cells for about 4 hours after eating it. You can read many studies on this one. One other thing we do to strengthen the immune system is to clean out the toxins by strengthening the liver, the kidney, and the lower bowel, and helping them do their jobs, because pathogens feed on garbage. When we talk about clearing the blocks from heart, mind, body, and spirit, you might notice that the Wholesome Life logo has 4 colors in the center circle. Those colors remind us or symbolize the heart, the mind, the body, and the spirit, and recognize that we are a whole being. We check for blocks to the energy in all these areas of heart, mind, body, and spirit to ensure that the energy can flow to facilitate rebuilding any affected body functions. When we're talking about clearing out blocks and restoring energy, we need to remember to put back in the opposite of the blocks that are removed. For example, if we clear out a block of fear, we put back in faith. If we clear out a block of lack of resources, we put back in abundance. If we clear out a block of hopelessness, we put back in hope, and so forth. Once the blocks are clear, we need to ensure that those energy meridians or power areas are back online. Because if there's no power to some systems in the body, it's not able to work together to rebuild the body. And putting the systems and body functions back online is fast and simple, and it's done as those systems are found and as they're discovered. By restoring the systems and restoring proper function to the systems, we reduce and eliminate the frustration, anger, and other symptoms, and we restore happiness to the child and to the parents. Because restored feedback loop allows that individual to be in control of their own life, and the frustration drops. The one thing that's left then is just to work on changing behavior or habits that were put in place to adjust for the offline or malfunctioning systems. While the individual's working on those habits and changing habits, we can give loving support and expect better behavior because we get what we expect to get. I know and have witnessed the feedback loop being put back online, and many and all of those symptoms being cleared. So if you need our help, please contact us. If you know a loved one that really needs some feedback loop symptoms to be cleared and the feedback loop to be put online and so that they can function at their full capacity, you're welcome to contact us or have them contact us so that we can help them.